Welcome everyone to the bonus version of the 113 cast. I guess make some predictions. I am your host Colby, and I am joined today by a couple people. First, we have Brian. Brian, what's new with you?
I'm alive. Last time we did picks and predictions, I came back from the Rumble to attack Rosario to avenge my me getting thrown off the cell. I know that was 6 months ago, but fortunately, quarantine has shut down our studio. So here we are. I'm back, Rosario. You better watch your back.
Well, it is good to you. It is good. Well, it does sound like we have been invaded as well by Rosario, who is here. So, Rosario, what's new with you?
Not much. After quarantine, I'll be back to attack Brian. Maybe throw him off a truck.
Do whatever works best. So, all right, guys. Well, we're here. We're doing this a little bit differently than in the past. Of course, in the past, Brian gives us picks and predictions, and sometimes you have a run-in from myself, Rosario, Be Firm. Today, we're doing this kind of a more ESPN style, I guess you could say, between us and the podcast, which will also go up on the podcast feed as soon as we're done. So. We're just going to go ahead and run through the matches one at a time and get our predictions on it. So let me just pull up the match card here. Okay, so the first match that we have here for the Raw Women's title, we have Asuka versus Nia Jax. Asuka, of course, just recently became the Raw Women's champion when Becky Lynch announced she was pregnant. And then Nia Jax probably killed somebody to get into this match. So, Brian, we'll start with you. Let me pull that down. What are your thoughts on this one?
Man, I got hurt during that. I'm gonna go with Asuka, plain and simple. Yeah, I don't need to explain.
No, there's no explanation needed. All right. Rosario, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going with Asuka by disqualification.
Sounds good. Well, I will also go with Asuka since, I don't think there's any reason for her to lose yet because she just got the title. And pray to God it's not going to be the Nia Jax that she drops it to. So that was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and get into our next one. Clean sweep for Asuka. So the next match I have here. So before I get in, well, I'll go ahead and pull this up. So we have Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. It's not the greatest match ever. We'll get to that. But Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in a feud that's been going on for a little over a month now. Now, I will say we're recording this after SmackDown, and Rosario and I both saw it. Brian, I know you haven't been watching SmackDown because, no reason really. But the night SmackDown saw Jeff Hardy throw his piss into Sheamus's face after Sheamus demanded he take a drug test in the middle of the ring, by the way, which he did.
So did they whip out their dicks and just piss there?
Oh yeah, they had like this big curtain around that they had him walk into in MPN, and then he threw it in his face. And then when they came back from commercial, Sheamus was backstage, drying his face off angrily. And the doctor walks in and goes, Sheamus, the urine test was negative. And then Sheamus gets angry again. So that's the extent of this feud, if you want to call it that. After a couple weeks ago when Jeff Hardy supposedly got drunk and ran over Elias, but maybe it was actually Sheamus. Don't know where to go. But Rosario, I'll start with you on this one. Who do you have winning this match?
I have Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, alrighty. And Brian?
I'm going to go with the same. I'm going to go ahead and pick Jeff Hardy just because of the way they've been building the storyline that I haven't been watching, but reading about. He can't lose this match, so I'm going with Jeff Hardy in this.
Yeah, I think I'd also go with Jeff Hardy. Doesn't really make sense for him to lose, but then again, you never know. But once again, clean sweep. We're all going with Jeff Hardy. So next match then, let me go ahead and pull that up here. We have the United States title. It's going to be the new champion, Apollo Crews, taking on Humberto Carrillo. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Taking on Andrade with Selena Vega, of course. Andrade won the triple threat on Raw this week to get the title shot against Angel Garza and Kevin Owens. So that's where we're at. Of course, Andrade was the champion that Apollo beat. So it is a rematch, technically, I guess. I'll give my pick first. I will go with Apollo just because he's a new champion, and I'm kind of hoping that they don't give him the belt for like 2 weeks and then take it right back. As much as I like Andrade, I would probably consider start moving him to more of the main event scene at this point. And who knows? With the news with Paul Heyman being pulled from Raw, they may do anything with this. But Brian, what about you? Who do you have for this match?
I'm actually going to go opposite. I'm going to go with Andrade to win this, just because it's WWE. You know, these mid-card titles, they haven't really been relevant, as you know, it sucks to say, but so I'm going to go with Andrade to win the U.S. title. Then afterwards, we're going to see Humberto become the number one contender somehow, some way.
You should probably know too, since you didn't watch SmackDown. The whole Brie Bella spoiler was incorrect, so that did not happen tonight on SmackDown. For those of you who haven't watched, well, I won't spoil it. We're not Rosario. Rosario, do you want to spoil it? No, I'm just kidding.
I'll save that for another time.
Okay, awesome. But for this match, Andrade and Apollo, who have you got?
I have Andrade winning, but Angel Garza is going to attack him because he pinned him last week on Raw. So Apollo's going to retain his title, but
I think it'll be because of Angel.
yeah.
That would make sense. It does seem like that's probably the way that they're going with it. So, all right. So 2-1 on that one. Moving on to the next match, we have the triple threat match, tag team match for the women's tag titles. Newly won from Sasha and Bayley. They will be defending against the Iconics. And, of course, the former champions, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So this will be an interesting triple threat that they have been building up on both shows. SmackDown tonight saw Sasha and Bayley having a celebration, which was interrupted by Alexa and Nikki. And then the Iconics came up on the screen, and it led to a brawl while the Iconics pointed left from the screen. So, Rosario, we'll start with you. Who do you have winning this match?
I'm going to go for the Iconics.
Iconic. All right. Brian, what about you?
I want the Iconics to win, but yeah, like I said, I want them to win, but I feel like they're going to keep it on Sasha and Bayley, so I'm going to go with Sasha and Bayley to retain.
Yeah, I would agree. I would like to see the Iconics win, but I think Sasha and Bayley will retain. Of course, whoever wins has to defend the titles on NXT this week against Tegan and Shotzi. So it would make sense for Sasha and Bayley to win since they're the heel team. Of course, I guess the Iconics are too. But I think Sasha and Bayley will give more star power too for NXT. So Sasha and Bayley it is. So let's go ahead and
before you stop there.
Yeah.
Are the Iconic fans are going to boo them too? Because I saw in the group chat, there's Iconic fans just booing them.
Yeah, some girl wearing an Iconic shirt, one of the PC recruits, booing the Iconics despite wearing an Iconic shirt was pretty funny. So I guess we'll find out. All right, so we are down to just a couple more matches here. Before I pull up the next one other one that I wanted to mention that as of now hasn't been added, but looks like it could be maybe a pre-show match. We're getting possibly getting New Day versus Nakamura and Cesaro. Brian, did you have any thoughts on that pick? You haven't been watching SmackDown, so I assume it would just be a random.
New Day retain. We'll go with that.
That would make sense because the way it looked was I think it was Nakamura got a roll-up pin in a non-title match. So that's the only reason why I'm assuming it. But Rosario, what about you? You think New Day?
I'll go with New Day.
That would make the most sense. Again, that's not confirmed, but one that we suspect will probably be added. We got about 3 matches left here. So, or no, yeah, 3 matches. So next up we have the Universal title match, a 2-on-1 handicap match featuring Braun Strowman, who has slightly updated music now. He's got a giant train whistle at the beginning of his theme, and then a bunch of smoke. Taking on Miz and Morrison. We were there live.
Ho, ho.
We were there live for the last 2-on-1 world title match that I can remember. And I guess it was the WWE title then, but that was a good match, but then again, that was 3 good workers. This match, you have 1, maybe 2 good ones. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about this. Of course, Braun's already squashed both of them. My pick, I'm going with Braun. I think that's kind of the obvious choice. Brian, how about yourself?
I agree with you. Right to the point. I'm going with Braun to retain.
All right. And Rosario, you?
I'm going to go with Miz and Morrison. And then after the match, Braun's going to attack them. Otis is going to cash in.
Getting a Money in the Bank cash in. That's a next man prediction.
I thought he was going to say they're going to turn on each other.
They'll do that after the match as well, just for Rosario. All right, so that leaves us down to our last 2 matches. First, we have the WWE title match. Drew McIntyre defending against Bobby Lashley, most likely with MVP. Ringside, MVP has been Bobby's mouthpiece as of late. Lots of rumors about this going either way. I'll start with you, Brian. Who do you have for this one?
I want Drew McIntyre to retain. However, from what we've been hearing, if they're going to go with that plan, I'm going to pick Bobby Lashley to win and become the new WWE champion.
And Rosario?
I want Drew to win also, but WWE, they're going to find a way to piss us off.
Yeah, like your background.
Yeah. I'm going to have faith and go with Drew. If they do pull the trigger and go with Lashley, nothing against Bobby. I think he's great. I think he deserves to be a champion at some point. But I'm going to probably be done with Raw because Drew's been one of the best built champions they've had in a while. And if they pull the belt off of him this quick, it shows they have no faith in anybody. So, all right. Well, that brings us to our personal main event, which apparently has already been recorded. The greatest wrestling match ever. We'll be seeing the Rated R Superstar Edge taking on the Viper, Randy Orton. Dave Meltzer will not have enough stars from this, according to WWE, because it will be so great. So the only thing that can make this greater is if it was in Japan. Unfortunately, that is not an option right now. So we are stuck with the Performance Center. Rosario, I'm going to kick this one to you first. Who do you have winning the greatest wrestling match ever?
Oh, I think it'll end in a no contest.
That'd be horrible. But I could see it happening. Brian?
Randy Orton to win this one. I feel like this rivalry isn't over. Edge got the win at WrestleMania. Randy Orton's going to win the greatest wrestling match ever. So then they're going to have their blow-off maybe at SummerSlam or something.
Yeah, that would make sense. I still think I'm going to go with – I don't know. I'm going to go with Orton, I think, because it doesn't really make sense for Edge to win back-to-back with the way WWE likes 50-50 booking. I have heard this match is going to go around half an hour. Hopefully they trim it down a little bit because I don't know if I want to watch that, but we will see. But yeah, that's it. That's all the matches from this weekend. Just one final question, I guess, before we get out of here. Any of the matches that really stand out to you? Rosario, I'll ask you first.
No, nothing stands out to me right now. There's no interest in the cards. There's no. They're just throwing stuff together. It seems like.
Brian, what about you?
Obviously, Rosario doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm looking forward to the main event because it's the greatest wrestling match ever. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm shaking if you can't tell.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, I'm gonna kick it around for you guys to do some plugs. So, Brian, we'll start with you. You got anything you want to plug?
Sure thing. So I am on Twitter at the Brian Season. I'm also on Instagram, Netflix and Brian. Buy Rosario's T-shirt. You'll plug that later. And yeah. That's all I have for right now.
Rosario, anything you want to plug?
Nothing.
Okay. As for me, there's not really much. You can find me on Twitter at the Colby Birch. You're probably watching this on YouTube, but you can find our YouTube channel. All the other links I'll put in the description, and then for those of you listening on the podcast, you know the deal. So, but yeah, that about does it for us here at the Picks and Predictions cast. So for Rosario and for Brian and for myself, we'll try to not let this take another 6 months again, hopefully. But we had to come back for the greatest wrestling match ever. So
we just had to. We had to open up the studio for this.
We had to do it. So but yeah, everybody take care and have a good whatever.